Our exploration of space, while remarkable, has left a troubling legacy: space debris. Imagine a vast junkyard orbiting Earth, filled with defunct satellites, spent rocket stages, and millions of smaller fragments, all moving at incredible speeds. This debris field poses a significant threat to active satellites, future space missions, and even life on Earth. As we continue to launch more objects into space, the problem of space debris is only becoming more pressing and more dangerous. The recent incident in Saskatchewan, where a piece of space junk crashed to Earth, is a stark reminder of the risks we face. While no one was injured in this instance, it highlights the potential for damage and destruction from these falling objects. The incident also raises critical questions about liability and responsibility in the vast expanse of space. Who is responsible when space debris causes damage or injury? And how can we prevent such incidents from happening again? These questions are not merely theoretical. As more satellites are launched, both by government agencies and private companies, the likelihood of collisions and debris-generating events increases. This growing population of space objects, combined with the long-lasting nature of debris, creates a complex and challenging legal landscape. Understanding the legal framework governing space debris is crucial for ensuring the safety and sustainability of our activities in space. The increasing frequency of space debris incidents underscores the urgent need for a comprehensive and enforceable legal framework to govern our activities in space. As we venture further into the cosmos, we must prioritize the responsible use and management of this shared resource. The future of space exploration, and indeed our safety here on Earth, depends on it. The legal framework governing space debris is primarily based on international treaties, most notably the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. This treaty, signed by over 100 countries, establishes space as a province of all mankind and outlines basic principles for its exploration and use. However, the treaty is relatively vague on the specific issue of space debris, leaving many questions unanswered. One key principle of the Outer Space Treaty is the concept of state responsibility. This means that countries are ultimately responsible for any damage caused by objects they launch into space, even if those objects are no longer functional. This principle has been further developed in subsequent agreements, such as the 1972 Liability Convention, which outlines procedures for making claims for damages caused by space objects. However, applying these principles to the issue of space debris is complex. Identifying the origin of a particular piece of debris can be difficult, especially if it's the result of a collision between objects from different countries. Moreover, the cost of removing debris from orbit can be astronomical, and there's no clear consensus on who should bear that cost. The existing legal framework also struggles to keep pace with technological advancements. For example, the rise of mega-constellations, large networks of satellites launched by private companies, presents new challenges for debris mitigation and liability. These constellations significantly increase the number of objects in orbit, raising the risk of collisions and debris generation. The current legal framework may need to be updated to address these challenges effectively. The recent incident in Saskatchewan, where a piece of space debris landed on a farm, highlights the real-world implications of this issue. While no one was injured, the incident sparked debate about liability and responsibility. The debris was eventually traced back to a Chinese rocket, raising questions about China's obligations under international space law. This incident is not an isolated one. In 1978, a Soviet satellite carrying nuclear material re-entered the Earth's atmosphere and scattered radioactive debris over Canada. The Canadian government billed the Soviet Union for the cleanup costs, highlighting the financial implications of space debris incidents. Another significant event occurred in 2009, when a defunct Russian satellite collided with an operational Iridium communications satellite. The collision created thousands of pieces of debris, adding to the already substantial amount of junk in orbit. This incident underscored the very real threat that space debris poses to operational satellites and the potential for cascading collisions. These cases illustrate the complexities of assigning liability and seeking compensation for damages caused by space debris. They also underscore the urgent need for a more robust and enforceable legal framework to address this growing problem. Enforcing space law presents unique challenges. Unlike traditional legal systems, there's no international court specifically dedicated to space law. Instead, disputes are typically resolved through diplomatic channels or by applying existing international law principles. The vastness of space also poses a significant challenge. Monitoring and tracking space debris is a complex and expensive task, requiring sophisticated technology and international cooperation. Even when debris is tracked, identifying the responsible party and taking legal action can be difficult. Moreover, the Outer Space Treaty and subsequent agreements lack specific enforcement mechanisms. While countries are obligated to adhere to these treaties, there's no international space police to enforce compliance or penalize violations. This lack of enforcement power can make it difficult to hold countries accountable for their actions in space. Addressing these challenges requires a multi-pronged approach. Strengthening international cooperation, developing more effective tracking and monitoring systems, and establishing clearer liability and compensation mechanisms are all crucial steps towards ensuring the responsible use of space. Given the global nature of space debris, international cooperation is essential for addressing this challenge. Countries must work together to develop and implement common standards for debris mitigation, tracking, and remediation. Several international organizations are actively involved in addressing space debris. The Interagency Space Debris Coordination Committee, or IADC, composed of space agencies from around the world, promotes research and development of debris mitigation guidelines. The United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, known as COPUOS, provides a forum for international dialogue and treaty-making on space-related issues, including space debris. However, despite these efforts, international cooperation remains a work in progress. Differences in national priorities, technological capabilities, and legal interpretations can hinder progress. Building consensus and fostering a spirit of shared responsibility is crucial for developing effective solutions. Strengthening existing international agreements and creating new ones specifically tailored to space debris management is essential. These agreements should include clear guidelines for debris mitigation, liability, and compensation, along with mechanisms for enforcement and dispute resolution. While international cooperation and legal frameworks are essential, technology plays a vital role in addressing the space debris problem. Scientists and engineers are developing innovative solutions for tracking, removing, and even recycling space debris. Ground-based and space-based telescopes are used to track and catalog space debris, providing valuable data for collision avoidance maneuvers and debris mitigation efforts. Advanced radar systems are being developed to improve the detection of smaller debris objects, which pose a significant threat despite their size. Active debris removal technologies are also being explored. Concepts range from robotic arms that capture debris to space-based lasers that nudge objects into a lower orbit where they will burn up in the Earth's atmosphere. Other innovative ideas include using large nets or harpoons to capture debris and using space-based tugs to deorbit large objects. Recycling space debris is another promising area of research. Companies are developing technologies to service and refuel satellites in orbit, extending their lifespan and reducing the need to launch new ones. Other concepts involve capturing and repurposing existing debris for new missions, turning space junk into valuable resources. As we continue to explore and utilize space, the need for a comprehensive and adaptable legal framework for space debris management becomes increasingly critical. The existing framework, largely based on Cold War-era treaties, must evolve to keep pace with technological advancements and the growing commercialization of space. One key area of focus is establishing clearer liability and compensation mechanisms for damages caused by space debris. This includes defining the scope of liability, streamlining the claims process, and potentially establishing an international fund to cover damages. Another crucial aspect is promoting the development and implementation of international standards for debris mitigation and remediation. These standards should cover all phases of a space mission, from design and manufacturing to launch, operation, and disposal. Furthermore, fostering international cooperation and data sharing is essential for effective space debris management. This includes sharing tracking data, coordinating debris mitigation efforts, and jointly developing technologies for debris removal and recycling. The increasing involvement of private companies in space activities, from satellite operations to space tourism, adds another layer of complexity to the legal landscape of space debris. While the Outer Space Treaty holds states responsible for the actions of their nationals in space, the role and responsibilities of private companies need further clarification. Governments are increasingly incorporating space debris mitigation requirements into their licensing and regulatory frameworks for private space activities. These requirements often include measures to minimize debris generation, track and control objects in orbit, and ensure their safe disposal at the end of their mission. However, a more harmonized and internationally consistent approach is needed. Developing a global code of conduct for space activities, potentially through a UN treaty, could establish a level playing field for private companies and ensure responsible behavior in space. The rise of private space activities also presents opportunities for innovation in space debris management. Private companies are developing new technologies for debris tracking, removal, and recycling, often in partnership with government agencies. Encouraging and supporting these efforts is crucial for finding sustainable solutions to the space debris problem. The issue of space debris is a stark reminder that our activities in space have consequences. The debris we leave behind poses a threat to our current and future use of space, and even to life on Earth. Addressing this challenge requires a multifaceted approach that encompasses international cooperation, technological innovation, and a robust legal framework. Strengthening international treaties, developing clear liability and compensation mechanisms, and fostering a spirit of shared responsibility are crucial steps. Investing in advanced technologies for debris tracking, removal, and recycling is equally important. But perhaps most importantly, we need to shift our mindset from one of exploitation to one of stewardship. Space is not an infinite resource to be used and discarded at will. It is a shared heritage that we must protect and preserve for future generations. By embracing a sense of collective responsibility for the cosmos, we can ensure the safe and sustainable exploration and utilization of space for generations to come.